TikTok, it's time to rock. You get Brad and I for 3 days in a row, ladies and gentlemen. You had us yesterday. You're going to get us today with the Rock Professor, and you'll get us tomorrow, and we'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. But let's talk about the show that we did yesterday, Brad. We had the pleasure, didn't we, of hanging out for 2 hours with Doug Steele.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I want to thank everybody that took the time to help Doug nudge a little bit closer, bro, to 20K subs. He's got 10 subscribers to go, bro.
Yeah, 10.
He's got 10 to go before he can get 20K, and he is full of hope that he might get it done during this show.
Yeah, well, we're going to ask everyone that's watching. We'll hit you up a few times throughout today's show. Please go and subscribe.
I'll put the link later, very soon, guys, in the in the chat for that. But while we're talking about subscriptions, Rock Professor, we also have to say thank you to Doug as well, because on the back of us doing a show with Doug, we managed to pick up probably about close to 30 subs. So thank you, guys. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Every time we have a look at that, don't we, guys? We're blown away by the support that people give us. Hey, Simon.
It's fantastic. Yeah. 3,530 subscribers. We're rolling, kids. Rolling. So it's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so awesome. Hard work. It's hard work to everybody. Hard work to my co-hosts here, to Brad and to the Rock Professor. And I just want to remind you guys too that Brad's YouTube channel and a lot of other good friends of our channel are on our channel page. So if you go to our page and up on the top banner there, you'll see community posts and channels. Click that channel thing, and everybody on there, please go and subscribe. And Brad, if anybody that subscribes to us or that's friends of us that wants to go on that page, we'll put them on there, won't we, bro?
Straight away. We'll put them up there straight away. Andrew's all over that. He puts it up immediately. So if you'd like us to share your YouTube page, just reach out to one of us, and we'll Andrew will upload it straight away.
Yeah, we'll get it done, bro. We'll get it done. Am I doing any shout-outs? Oh, I've done my shout-out. I've done my shout-out to Doug, and I've done my shout-out to my co-hosts.
Well, I think we were going to give another shout-out to a dear friend of the channel, Andrew.
Oh, Warren, absolutely. How dare I forget that? We want to do a shout-out to Warren. We haven't heard from Warren for a while, brother.
No, I hope he's all right.
When we do certain albums, we certainly think of you, and I know for a fact that you love Deep Purple. I know for a fact you do. So we want to dedicate the show to you, Warren. So reach out to us, let us know, bro, how you going. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, fantastic. It'd be great to hear from you, Warren. Another shout out to Philip Sace, my friend Philip Sace, and happy birthday, Philip. So another day older, another day wiser, another day more beautiful.
Hello. Another day more beautiful. I love that, bro. Yeah, that's Brad for you. He's always gonna give you the good stuff.
I try, Andrew. Look, I'm only trying to, compete with you and Simon. I'm just trying to get myself up there. It's always good. Always good to have a bit of friendly competition within the team. Raise the bar all the time.
That's better. We all look better like that. Slightly blurred.
At least we can hear you. That's the most important thing.
That's true.
And for all those people that are actually here for Simon, because he's the eye candy, I'm sorry. For all those people that might be watching because he's a silver fox, he's still here.
Oh, dear. You guys are cracking me up today.
Yeah. And we need to do one more shout out. We need to do a shout out to Teresa, who is not feeling great, I don't think, at the moment. Her car accident is catching up with her a bit, so she's not on the show today. So get well, Teresa. We hope you're well. And thank you so much for all the stuff you've done for our channel. We know you've done loads promoting it in Brazil. So thank you so much for that. And get well. We hope you're good. Catching on the replay.
Awesome. The Rock Professor will do a shout out to you guys in the chat soon, but I'll just throw up your comments. And, obviously we're always chuffed, aren't we, Brad, to have people join us live. What else am I going to do? Oh, I have to rank some tracks. I have to go after Brad. That's right.
having complained last week that there was nothing left for you to say, so you're going second this week, but I have lots to say.
Oh, yeah.
No, well, today, look, I picked this record. I picked this one a long time ago, guys, and a little thing called a stroke happened, and we never got to it. And we've been pretty busy with everything else. So it's finally great to get back to this one. And I had to go over my notes again and polish a few things up and make a few little changes. Because as you know, you make a few changes as you listen to the album every time. So Deep Purple, one of my all-time favorite bands. The more I listen to Deep Purple over the years, the more fonder and closer I feel to the band. There's so much amazing stuff going on there musically. If you guys are ready, do you want to dive into the album Fireball?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Can I just say before we do, though, if we can just do a bit of a round table, though, bro, about how we came across the album, because I came across this album quite late, bro. I knew some of the songs on this album, because I think they were back in the day, how we used to always say that we had tapes, cassettes, where people would record crap on there and they'd say, hey, Brad, come over here. Yeah, here's a cassette tape. Take that, go and listen to it. It was like, the great stash of songs on the cassette. But I heard a lot of these songs on cassette tapes, but Brad, I reckon I would have been, and Simon, well into probably around about 1920 when I actually first sat down and listened to this album. What about you, Brad?
This album, I obviously was into Deep Purple, and I had a Deep Purple Greatest Hits album, and from that I started buying the albums that those songs are off and discovering the album, the Greatest Hits, Deepest Purple, I think it was called.
Yeah,
and obviously this album, I knew the song Fireball and Strange Kind of Woman, but I didn't know any other tracks, and I put the album on, and it felt like it was going to be this epic journey. When I listened to it, I was like, this is different to what I expected, and it really was. And this album in particular grew on me because it took a while, because obviously, Machine Head, I bought that. I bought In Rock. I bought Stormbringer. I bought all these albums, and I hadn't purchased this one, and I bought this one of the later Deep Purple records I got. And it took a few listens to really get into these songs. No, that's not downgrading it at all. Those sort of albums for me end up becoming my favorites, because there's a lot going on. You don't absorb it all at first, and then you start absorbing it the more you listen to it. So for me, it was, I would have been, similar age to you, Andrew, 17, 18, when I got into this record. And I have to say, it slowly became one of my favorite Deep Purple records. And I'll discuss that moving forward, obviously, when we start ranking the tracks. But awesome. There's songs in there that are in epic sort of classic Deep Purple sounds, and then there's ones that are a little bit left of field, which I like them too. So
yeah. Probably, Brad. Probably, knowing our luck, the Rock Professor was standing in line outside the record shop waiting to buy this when it dropped, probably on a Friday night with his 30p.
Yeah,
30p. to £2.50.
Oh,
Something like that. Yeah. So yeah. Well, not quite. It's a bit early for me. Machine Head was my first Deep Purple album because 1972. I did start by record to 1972, so I would have bought Machine Head first and then gone back to Fireball and then Rock. But Fireball was certainly one of the albums we had around that, when we had parties and we had get-togethers as teenagers. One of the albums on the old turntable was Fireball. So
awesome!
part of my history growing up is Deep Purple, and as you know, I went to see them live, all the lineups. Not all of them, but I saw the Richie Blackmore and the Ian Gillan lineup, and also the David Coverdale lineup as well.
You saw the ones that mattered.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything else is.
Stop boasting, Simon. Stop boasting, all right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll stop now. Shut up. Yes. Nobody likes a smart ass, do they? As I say to my children often.
You know how we can shut them up, bro? We'll say, Simon, Rock Professor, do the shut up, please.
Is it time to? Okay, I'm doing the shout out. Yes, get back in your place with him. Stop messing about. So we've got a good morning to Christopher Lysauer. He's going to watch he's going to bed watching the replay.
Yeah.
Oh no, Christopher, sleep well.
Another one.
I don't blame you. Staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning is quite right. Mitch Heyman, good morning, Mitch. Lake District Guitars, Andy. Good morning, Andy. Good to see
Andy.
you. Hope you're good. Nelson, of course, Nelson Rodriguez. Good morning, Nelson. Hope you're good. Alan as well. Alan Borishine. Good morning, Alan. And let me see. We've got Helene as well. Helene O'Hara. Good morning, Helene. We hope you're good. Gretch Zeppelin. Morning, Gretch. Such a great name. Wish I'd thought of it. L&M Guitar Corner as well. Good morning, L&M. I think that's probably everybody who said hi in the chat right now. Hope I didn't miss anybody. So good morning to everyone. Thanks for joining. And I'll keep my eyes open and say good morning as people turn up. Oh, Johnny Heartbreaker, awesome. There we are. Good morning. Look at that. Johnny Heartbreaker. Dang, my dad was 15 when this album came out. That means your dad's the same age as me, Johnny. That's most upsetting.
We've got Helen here as well. Hey, Helen, nice to see you.
Helen Winter. Good morning, Helen Winter.
We really appreciate you guys joining us, and we really appreciate the people that come back and listen to what we have to say after these shows go on our channel. Again, thank you very much, guys. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And if you are watching this later and you haven't subscribed, please do so. And thumbs ups, of course. All that good
thumbs
stuff.
Ups. Thumbs up.
That's it. So we're ready. We've all done a bit of a round table. It's interesting to hear everyone's little round table session. Because that's what makes the show. Even when we get guests on, it's great to hear, their first sort of little visit to the album or whatever it may be we're talking about. It's great. So so In Rock, following Deep Purple's successful In Rock album that came out in 1970, they released Fireball in 1971. It was the fifth album with the classic Mark II lineup. It became the first of the band's number one UK hits. They had three UK number one albums, and this is one of them. It failed to stay in the charts as long as the previous album, but still did really, really well. Material for the album was rehearsed in Welcome Manor in Devonshire in 1970. The band had to cancel some live performances in order to put together material, obviously to follow up the In Rock album. There were a few issues on this album. It was recorded under a few issues. There were some health issues. John Lord had some back issues that were dating back to the early days where he used to roadie his own Hammond around for himself. So if anyone's seen the size of the Hammonds on the Grizzly speakers, you'd surely understand why he had back problems at this point. So yeah, that was a big thing for John Lord. Roger Glover had some stomach issues, so much so that he was unable to perform in a few live occasions. There was also the famous heat rising between Ian Gillan and guitarist Richie Blackmore. So Richie felt his decision to focus on more hard rock with the direction of the previous album. He felt like that direction led to the band's success. That led to there being increasing conflict between Ian Gillan, the singer, and Richie Blackmore, the guitarist. They started that famous heat that started between them was around this period, and it continued on. Obviously, it imploded at some point, which we're not going to get into right here. Strange Kind of Woman was written during these sessions, along with the song The Mule. It was recorded in January 1971. Another song, Freedom, was written at the Welcome sessions and recorded. It didn't make the final track listing, but it's on the re-release of this album, which is it's a great little song too. So we're not ranking that one today, though. Yeah, so other material recorded in between gigs through to March was Strange Kind of Woman, which was added to the group's live set at the end of January. And it rapidly became a showpiece for Ian Gillan to sing back to Richie Blackmore's like call and response during the solos. And if you've heard any of that live footage of them doing this song, it's quite, it's what do you call it? I call it timeless. Those sort of things are spare of the moment things, and they're just chemistry that worked. Too bad about the fact that they were starting to, have a heated session between them. But so this album for Richie Blackmore, he did state in public that he was unpleased with, not overly pleased with the album. He said of the production, it was a bit of a disaster. This is his quote. Because it was thrown together in the studio, managerial pressure. We had no time. You got to play here, there. Then you've got to make an LP. I told them, if you want an LP, you've got to give us time, but they wouldn't. I just threw ideas to the group that I thought up at the spare of the moment. And John Lord stated, Fireball wanders slightly and goes to places that the band wasn't expecting to go. Lord did praise several songs on the album, including No, 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 Fools, and particularly singled out Ian Pace's drumming on the title track. For me, the band at this point are on fire. They're obviously strayed a little bit from the hard rock in a couple of the tunes, but I fell in love with this album from the album cover onwards. Like when I bought the album, sat and looked at the album cover, and I really, really, really always wanted to try and get the Fireball album cover on my wall. I just never found a poster of it, but I always thought that was their best album cover for me. So I'm ready to rank the tracks, guys. If you've got any more to add, if not, we'll go straight into the tracks.
No, I just want to add a little bit to what you mentioned in regards to Richie's comments there, bro. And I'm not surprised by his comments because, I think when we talk about some of the tracks, I think we might back up where Richie was coming from with those comments. So I look forward to clearly hearing what Brad, as our resident Deep Purple fanatic, has to say. Counterbalanced by my studious, unbiased opinion. And then probably kicked up the bum by the rock professor for a couple of them. So we look forward to this. Off you go, bro.
Well, the opening track is the title track as well, Fireball. From the amazing drum intro by Pace, we know we're in for a real treat with this song. It's a driving riff, straight from the start as the vocals come in. There's some amazing bass playing in this from Roger Glover. Ian really sings and dominates vocally throughout this. Perfect example is around the 1 minute 4 second mark, where he sings and he wails. It's just unbelievable. And it's sort of, for me, you listen to that type of singing and it's like, how the hell do they do that? It's not human, but he just naturally did it. So the amazing drum and guitar interlude, that 1 minute 50 mark, is just brilliant. We're treated to a masterpiece solo from John Lord. I love the tambourine that's added at the end as it fades out. The whole band is just absolutely cooking through this. But the standout of the song for me has to be Ian Pace with his bombastic push swinging drumming. Just amazing. I gave it 100 out of 10, and it's never had a skip for me.
Badoom. There you are. Straight in with a Brad score.
Andrew.
Yeah. Okay. So honestly, folks, we don't bull crap around here. Certainly not in the first hour, anyway. So, bro, my notes for me, drumming for me is epic. Yeah. And and there's an interesting guitar tone going on in that solo, which freaked me out because it's not Richie Blackmore tone for me, and there's a lot of other surprises here with his guitar work through the rest of these other songs too that we're going to talk about. But that bass slap back to the torrent of drumming for me is heavy rock funk. That's what I've got here. That interplay that you said, Brad, for me, it's just face melting. It's a standout for me. Rock Professor, the bass, and the way that the bass is just playing a little bit behind what that drummer is doing. It's phenomenal. I've given this a 10 out of 10, and it's a cracker. It's a cracker, Rock Professor.
Yeah, absolutely. Opening with I think I'll just say that the sound at the beginning is the sound of an air conditioner being turned on. That whooshing sound at the beginning made it sound like a fireball. It's actually an air conditioner.
I did not know that.
Turned on. There they are.
I thought it was an amp or something.
Well,
I thought it was a grinder or something being turned on. Something like that. So we've got the Rock Professor's frozen.
No, no, it was an air conditioning unit, but
yeah, Alan's backing up the Rock Professor. It was an air conditioner at the start of the song. Yeah, are you there, Simon? Rock Professor.
Am I back?
Yeah, we can hear you. Rock Professor. Okay, yes. while the rock Professor's trying to. Are you back?
Get my. Am I back? Is it working?
You're back.
Is it rolling?
You're good. You're Bob. Bob's rolling. Alan did her homework.
Yes, Helen. Well done. It's yes. Apparently, the band told people who asked what the sound was. It was made by a special synthesizer. Not a special synthesizer, an air conditioning unit, which is quite cool. It's absolutely an epic track. The drums are fantastic and a great riff. One of those real memorable Deep Purple riffs only they could do. The play, it's that thing about the organ and the guitar playing together to make that big sound is also signature stuff. The other thing I'd say about it is that the solo is kind of it's a song. It's got it's got a great melody and stuff. But the solo is a kind of swooping, angular, angry kind of Richie Blackmore and Jeff Beck are like twin brothers, aren't they? The angry brothers of guitar. Liable to stomp off at a moment's notice. And it struck me that you're expecting one of those fast kind of melodic things from Richie, and what you don't get is that. What you get is this kind of angular, kind of angry sort of feedback, grr solo, the kind of thing that's completely at odds with the song in many ways. It's still great, but unexpected as far as I'm concerned. And listening back to it, you think isn't that? It's not what I normally do at all, you know. But I mean, clearly a 10 out of 10, and I would echo the great drumming. I mean, the drumming is the thing, isn't it? Ian Pace on the drums. It's a fantastic opening track.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I
Hey, Holly.
agree. It's a very classic Deep Purple sound from the word go. You know, they're well known for their solid, you know, riffs and the way that but the drumming is something that's quite unique to Deep Purple, as is like other bands like, you know, Led Zeppelin with Bonzo, John Bonham. He was a particular sound and brought that to the table for Led Zeppelin. Ian Pace is the same for me in Deep Purple. But anyway, so we're up to No. For me, I love this song. Starts off with that brilliant Richie Blackmore guitar riff. I love it, and I have to say his guitar tone is sensational. It's probably one of my favorite strat tones at the start of this song. That neck sound is just beautiful. The band's really tight. Some great bass parts. They're moving around. Ian's vocals are dominating and they're larger than life. His high screams are trademark. They're inhuman, as I said before, but they were his trademark at this time. No one else is really doing what he was doing with those screams. It just out of nowhere, it just like just unbelievable. I can't even get that high. The song's a journey. You know, the breakdown before the solo, there's that really nice slide section, and then it comes into some of the tastiest blues playing. You know, I mean, Richie Blackmore, we always see him as this hard rock neoclassical sort of style guitarist, but my lord, he's playing some amazing blues licks in this song, and he's really well backed up from the vamping by John Lord on the Hammond. They did that so well together. They played so well together, and then we get to the solo by John Lord, and it's beautiful. The Hammond, the sound on this song is sensational. It's pushed, it's distorted a little bit. It's everything good about a Hammond organ. Around 5:15, we have some double guitar runs. He's doubled them on the guitar, recorded them 2 or 3 times. And obviously it's got those nice stabbing accents behind those runs. For me, this is one of my favorites on the album, and this song grew on me the more I listened to it. Richie's guitar playing on this, for me, is the highlight. He plays some of the tastiest licks on guitar I've ever heard, and especially at the end while Ian Gillan's showing off his vocals, like doing the big up there, and he's playing this thing, he's playing this lick that's, I mean, I sit up, not the moment, but I used to sit and try and practice it note for note, and I could never get the feel right. Just something about him. This for me is a 10 out of 10. It's never a skip. Andrew.
You're reading my notes, bro. Even going. So no. Blues intro. Wow. You know, I'm reading my notes here, guys. That exceptional blues guitar tone that he's got going on this album just knocked it out of the park for me when I heard it years ago, and I still love it. And at that 1:30 mark, you know, what a great guitar solo. And I'm going, yes, yes, yes. I'm not saying no. I'm going, yes, yes, yes. And Brad and Rock Professor, I'm picking up, you know, because we've been talking about Led Zeppelin over the last couple of weeks, you know, with the Zoso show. But I'm just, you know, doing what Brad does, you know, doing some archaeology. And I think there may be some voodoo going on there with what Blackmore's trying to do in reply, maybe, because you know how these musicians would reply to each other through their music. I'm getting the strong sense, and I think there's going to be a lot of other songs that we talk about later on that might back up what I'm saying there. That breakdown at the 4-minute mark, Simon, it's fantastic. And again, that guitar and organ interlude that's going on is just fantastic. And Brad and I are the resident closet bass players here, but that droning bass tone again that's going on behind all this this music is just phenomenal. Just keeping it there. I've given this a 10 out of 10 as well. Certainly one of the highlights in Deep Purple's catalogue for me. Rock Professor.
Yes, absolutely. Said to have been influenced by Shuggy Otis. This song. It's,
correct.
Apparently, Roger Glover said.
Go and check him out. Yeah,
it's kind of it's in a bit of a tradition, this, isn't it? That kind of bluesy kind of riff that they do. Is it Lazy that they do on Machine Head, isn't it? You know, it's got that same kind of bluesy kind of riff to it that they do really well, and they kind of uniquely do it. I think I don't think anybody else really does it quite like them. Richie Blackmore, comes up with this stuff, and and clearly I agree. I think that I love when he sings no, and he does that octave falsetto on the last note, Ian Gillan. That's like it's like, wow, that's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to and really hit those notes and and do it properly. Yeah, so really fantastic. I agree with you about that. The organ, that thing about the Deep Purple signature of the organ and the guitar playing together. To make that sound, that absolutely that Deep Purple sound whenever they're playing. A lot of playing together, Lord and Blackmore. A lot of the on the solo, I think it must be reverb. But, it sounds like huge kind of guitar sound. I'll put a load of reverb on it or something. And again, we talk about it a lot on here. The dynamics of the track. You break down. And then you come back on, you break down. And there's that moving. Not all the instruments are playing all the time. People drop out and things drop down and then come back in. And you have a contrast between the verses and then the interverse breaks. The difference in the dynamics between the two things. It's just brilliantly constructed and brilliantly organized. And so you keep the interest all the way through because different things are going on. And so. Yeah, for me, 10 out of 10 for me, never a skip, and as I say, in that kind of Deep Purple tradition of that kind of funky blues riff, driven song that they do so well. I like to.
Glad we're all on the same page with it, because for me, sometimes I feel like I'm on my own with these things, and I listen to these songs and I go, "Oh, that's 100 out of 10," and then
you mightn't think you mightn't think very well of me later on, bro. I'm sorry. Okay. I'll practice my timeout. I better practice my timeout thing.
Don't give it away.
Well, there'll be no bad words about Deep Purple, all right, Andrew?
Okay, just saying.
No bad words, just interesting scores.
Well, get your timeout button ready, mate. That's all I can say. All right. Well, third song in, and we're onto a little it's a bit of a comedy sort of ditty. It's a bit of tongue-in-cheek song for me, and for me, it does sound like a thrown-together jam, but in a good way. Spur of the moment sometimes makes for perfection, I guess. But there's some lovely, delicate guitar playing in the intro. Nice contrast with the piano playing. I really think it sets the tone for the whole song. The overdubbed slide guitar gives a very cool country vibe because of the piano and the slide sort of is emulating like a pedal steel guitar. So it's very cool. Yeah.
Which song are you talking about?
Which song? Anyone's Daughter.
Oh, right. You're not going to do Demon's Eye?
Oh, I skipped it. Oh, my goodness.
So, Demon's Eye, always a skip.
No. My apologies. And I'm glad.
No, it's fine. That's right. Because I start thinking, wait a minute, Demon's Eye, I've got a piano on it, or have I missed it?
No, you are 100%, and my apologies, guys. No, I've just spilled the beans, and I'm very embarrassed about Anyone's Daughter. So, Demon's Eye. Well, for me, mate, what can you say? It's got that vamping sort of intro. It's got that really sleazy, bluesy sort of guitar riff through it. It's just got that whole blues vibe for me. Deep Purple playing the blues. That's how I described this song. Ian Gillan's vocals in it are fantastic. I love the lyrical content as well. When you sort of listen to what the song's actually about, most men can probably understand that. We've all been there, done that, and been through situations where, been through a demon's eye. So, great guitar playing, the keyboard playing through it as well. The solo is great. The solos are fantastic. Richie Blackmore, the more I listen to him over the years, the bigger an influence he's become for me. And when I listen to this song, the riff itself is something that is quite unique, and it's simple, but it's written so well. His guitar playing through the whole song for me is the highlight. For me, I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's never a skip.
Oh, that's interesting. Interesting, bro. Because just give me a second here. Hold on. I'm just trying to get my notes. Hold on. Okay. Classic. It's a classic rock song, isn't it? And as Brad said, you got the keyboards going on there. The mid-paced rocker. But what's really interesting for me in this song, Brad, was the vocals. The vocals were quite up front compared to the other two songs, and that was a nice. That was a nice little sonic difference that I enjoyed hearing. And I think that these guys back then, Rock Professor, did that on purpose, didn't they? We've discussed that before. And when I went and had a look at my notes on these other Deep Purple albums that we've done in the past here on the channel, and I'll add those links if you guys have missed those shows here for you guys to go and check it out. We've made a reference to that before about how this band loves to change the way that the vocal comes across on a lot of the recordings. So again, they're staying true to what they do. They're treating the vocal of the band as an instrument, aren't they? By giving him a different palette for us to hear, and I like it. But Brad, it's not a standout track for me, bro. It's an album, third song, album filler. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, guys, but I've given this 7 out of 10, and it's never a skip.
7's still okay.
Okay, thank you, bro.
It's not like a 4 out of 10 or something. You got to start.
Yeah, we want more justification of why it's a 7, Andrew. It's for me, again, it has all those classic Deep Purple things, doesn't it? It has the organ and the guitar play together. They play the riff together. It's that classic. Clearly that's how they've worked it out. The Ian Gillan singing. When he sings the sly bit, doesn't he? He does that kind of sort of neo, all out Whitney Houston kind of sly, doesn't he? That tremendous kind of. That's not an impersonation of Ian Gillan. It's terrible, but you understand. So I think you're right, Andrew. That kind of using his voice as a sound palette, as a different texture almost, and almost never mind the words that he's actually singing, but the way that he's singing, what he's doing, give it sort of a melody and a texture of its own, which is cool. I think it's a great organ solo and a great guitar solo as well. This is more typical Richie Blackmore. I think it's melodic, swooping, fast licks, and all of that stuff. Classic Blackmore, if you can describe it as such a thing. But guitar solo at the end. But I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's never a skip. I think a good third track. I think it's fine. But
hey, Keith.
Yeah. Good morning, Keith.
Interesting, Andrew. You said that it, and Simon, especially that you mentioned that it's like more classic sort of Richie Blackmore, And for me, it sounds like it could have been a song that was left over from the In Rock session. That was what I thought about. Maybe they didn't run rock because the In Rock album was very strong. Maybe it was an idea they had from that. Who knows? But it actually sounds like it could have been from that In Rock sort of era for me. So, which is a year before. So now we're on to Anyone's Daughter. Okay, so I've kind of given away my ranking and everything and stuff. So I'll keep it short and sweet. Obviously, like I said, thrown together jam, spur of the moment, but there's some really lovely, delicate guitar playing, the keyboards, the slide guitar. The lyrics are very tongue-in-cheek, very cool. I love this. The line where it goes, "Daddy came and banged my head." It's just, I don't know why. I just love that line. He said, "What kind of man?" We all know what the song's about. It's a PG rated show, so we won't go into it. But look, the band's definitely stepped outside their hard rock sound for this. Great piano solo from John Lord, which is the highlight for me. And I love the guitar solo. That tone of the Strat is just fantastic. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Never a skip for me. It's a fun little song. I like when bands sometimes throw something a little left of field in. All the bands in this era did it. I mean, like Zeppelin did it. All the bands in this era did it. Even Black Sabbath used to do it occasionally, throw a spanner at you with something completely different on the album. But yeah, I liked it. Andrew.
Well, if you want to quote lyrics from this song, I like the line "hairy bum." Yeah, and
you would.
Which is apt for the time, isn't it? And we're going to show some pics later of the band. If you guys have forgotten what the band looked like in 1971, yeah. Look, Brad, bro. When I was a young dude, I always skipped this song because I had to. When I was a young dude, but I don't skip it now, and I like the slide. Is that a slide guitar going on in this song?
Yeah.
And Rock Professor, is this Deep Purple trying to rip off Bob Dylan or something?
Yeah.
I thought they were trying to do a Stonesy vibe. When the Stones do like a country feel. Yeah.
Oh no! Really? I don't. Oh.
No, I agree, Andrew. Yes, I had that written down. I had that kind of like weird kind of sub Dylan sort of thing going on.
Yeah, and because of that, because only an English band is going to try and rip off one of the greatest singer-songwriters in the world, and don't give a damn what anyone thinks about it. Look, I'm going to give them, Brad. I'm going to give them 8 out of 10. Go and listen to the lyrics, especially as Brad said, it's a PG show. But if you want to check out, what these guys were thinking back then, this is a very good example of a band getting together and doing a little ditty, Rock Professor.
Yes, a little ditty is about right, isn't it? A whimsical country number type thing. It's weird, but I agree with you about the sort of Dylan-esque kind of thing, isn't it? It kind of, has a kind of Nashville skyline type of vibe to it. That's,
yeah.
Sort of thing. But I mean, I think it's a clearly, as they say, made up in the studio kind of thing, and just kind of, Blackmore came up with the chords, and then they started joining in, and I think that's clearly true.
Yeah.
I did, Johnny. But I like the honky tonk guitar as well. That's really good. The slide guitar. It's funny, isn't it, how nobody ever talks about Richie Blackmore's slide guitar, and yet he plays slide guitar quite a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yep. There's a few more numbers. Yeah, coming up.
Yeah. So clearly one of the weapons in his arsenal. Don't tell anyone. It's but yes, I mean it strikes me that one of the secret things about Richie Blackmore is his slide guitar. There you are. There's a video for somebody out there. Richie Blackmore's secret weapon, slide guitar playing. What makes Richie Blackmore great? Yes, I mean I gave this a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't necessarily skip it, but I think it's a light, whimsical little number that they just made up. Doesn't really quite have the, I think they could have. I think if you put "Strange Kind of Woman" instead of this, you'd have a different album altogether. But
correct. Correct.
I mean, I think that's kind of what struck me about it in a way. It's like, okay, it's fine. To me, it's a B-side. Not. Clearly, track 4 on side 1 is where it should be.
Yep.
So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me, and never a skip. It's it's fine, but I think it's not quite Deep Purple I want, I have to say.
Fair enough. Andrew, we're about halfway, mate. If you want to show those pictures.
No problem, brother. Man. Give me 2 seconds, and you can run the commentary on them. I'll get rid of the comment there from Johnny Heartbreaker. I'll bet if you guys haven't checked out Brad on Instagram, go and check him out. There he is there. Brad Cook Music. Easy peasy Japanesey. Go and check him out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you meant he was in the picture.
More importantly, check out these handsome gentlemen.
Here he comes.
This is
this one. That one.
The Seductive album cover. This is their alternate album cover.
I'm glad they didn't go with this, bro. I'm glad they didn't do that, because that's no. I won't say that. We'll keep that. Just won't go there.
No. We won't go there. But I agree. I'm glad they stuck with the cover they did. So that's Richie Blackmore. Obviously, that's probably taken a still out of the clip they did. No. One of the they did like a rehearsal, and they filmed it. And it's we might even share the link to that in the show notes later on. But it's brilliant, and in the previous picture, I called it his wizard suit. He was looked like a bit of a wizard.
Yes,
but,
a hat.
Yeah, so here's a picture of the hairy bums around 1971, and you see John Lord always sported the cool mo and goatee, and that's Ian Gillan. Ian Pace, the drummer. That's Richie Blackmore, the eccentric guitar player that we love and know. And there's Roger Glover, the bass player. He was a big contributor to the songwriting, especially when it came to the classic Machine Head album. And another picture of the hairy bums, all with the bum part. They've all got the bum part happening, and the goatees and the moustaches, and I always thought Ian Pace looked really cool there with the glasses and the cheesecloth type shirts and things like that. But John Lord was a cool
Roger Glover with his trademark hat on. His trademark.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that's a double up, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Cool hat. So there's an alternate version of the seductive. So they've turned and looked the other way and then taken a photo of that. This is in Sydney at Randwick Racecourse. So that's a photo of the band in 1971 in Randwick in Sydney.
And notice there the ever-present 60s, 70s stage essential, the tarpaulin.
Yeah, the tarp's all right.
Oops. Yep.
So the weather must have been warm, because Richie's looking more like Keith Richards there than he ever has, to me. But he was that's the rear of the album cover. So that's obviously the song titles, and I love that from Planet Earth. When you get to the front cover, you'll understand what's going on there. So yeah, obviously courier guys, they got their truck behind them. I'm joking. So this album cover is classic for me. I've always loved it. I picked this album cover up and fell in love with the album cover so much. I tried to get that poster on my wall. I just couldn't never find it. But I love that album cover. Probably my favorite album cover of theirs.
And that's the poster there, which was apparently, as Brad said, pretty popular.
Yeah. And picture of Richie
at home.
Yep, picture of Richie and a castle behind him. I don't know where he is there, but well, at least he's smiling in that picture. And that's the front-on version of the the alternate. What was it called? Magic Man shop. Ian Gillan. That's a shot out of the No clip with his suit on and his hairy bum look. Ian Pace's drums it always spins me out. These left-handed, just watching him play. It's like reverse or mirror version of what you'd expect to see him be doing. So, but always a fantastic drummer to watch play. Just amazing.
Yeah. Interesting about Richie Blackmore. Richie never played 60s strats, did he? Never played the early 50s and 60s. Always 70s ones with the big headstocks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he favoured the big headstocks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've never seen him play that. The sort of they're vintage now, but he never played those vintage guys. He always seemed to just favour the post CBS ones, didn't he?
Well, he said during those interviews, remember during lockdown, and he was going on social media once a week with him and his wife, and that was one of the questions that he answered. He said he believed, as Brad said, that headstock made a difference to his tone.
Yeah, I believe so as well. Hence why I've got my name headstock. Yeah. There's a certain resonance that comes as a bit more timber, and the bottom end seems to cut through a little bit, and the top end's more present as well. So it's just a bit more timber, I guess. You can see all the Marshall stacks up there in the background. There's stage setting. Richie doing something weird with his heel boot up against the Marshall. But yeah,
some of those are John Lords, wasn't they?
But imagine being the singer, Ian Gillan, trying to hear your fallback wedges over all that behind you. That's just remarkable. I can't see any fallback.
You go to the front of the stage and hope you can hear yourself over the PA.
Well, I can't actually see any fallback wedges in front of him. So yeah, they're always. I used to wonder how those guys, maybe that's how they blew their voices out, because they was trying so hard to hear himself.
That's right. So yeah, there's no monitors there, guys. That's what that's the technical term that Brad was talking about. Normally, you see a row of them now in front of artists so they can clearly hear. So obviously, you and I and the Rock Professor have mentioned this before when we've spoken about a lot of these bands. One of the reasons why they were tight together and close together is because they needed to see what they were playing as opposed to hear what someone was playing too. So Keith Richards talks about that a couple of times too. So you needed to be able to see what was going on because they couldn't quite technically hear. So smart, clever musicians, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much how they looked on stage. Just another picture of the hairy bums, They actually looked like they could, they could be up to no good there. Who knows? They always looked a little bit unhappy when photos have been taken. I don't think
mean, moody, and magnificent.
And I do believe that Richie Blackmore was very much dead against photographers taking photos. I just don't think he liked it. So he's not very happy.
Look at that face.
He looks like a scary man to me.
God bless him.
Oh yeah. Still, as far as I'm concerned, the quirkiness or whatever he's playing far outweighs the the eccentricity of him. So,
Hey, Keith.
usually find most of the people in the world that are brilliant are eccentric anyway. So, that's what I've always come to the conclusion of.
Yeah, agree. It just makes me laugh. It's kind of like, grrr.
Oh yeah, no, you wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him back
No,
in
you
those
wouldn't
days.
want to mess about. No.
Like
And
California
you
Jam.
could see, just from that face, that I could see that, him and Gillan, you know, having trouble, that he would bring that friction to the band, wouldn't he? That brings some kind of artistic, friction that makes the band, but also makes it really difficult to work in.
I think the egos set in by 70, 71 with them as well, because they were starting to have success. And as I said, the header of this, I think Richie, not responsible for the success of the band because he's put his foot down for the direction of the band. So, obviously that's another thing too. But later, when the Coverdale get Hughes version of Deep Purple at California Jam, you see Richie doesn't like the cameraman being near him, and he smashes the camera with his Strat.
It does, yes, I know.
He smashes it. So, get away, So guys, we're up to side 2, and there's 3 songs on side 2, guys. 3 songs, and it's the days where albums had like 7 or 8 songs. That's it. There was no 15, 16, 17 songs on an album. So we're up to the Mule, I believe, guys.
Correct.
Indeed, the Mule.
Pull my notes up again. So I hope you guys, from those pictures, they obviously set a bit of a mood. So I hope you guys understand why we show the pictures, because it sort of demonstrates the era and the album that we're describing. So the Mule, it's an epic song full of chords, big chords, powerful drumming. There's the musicality between the band. It's fantastic. There's some great double track guitar playing on this song. Ian sings like he's telling a story, and lyrically it reminds me a bit of David Bowie for some reason. Whether it's the mismatchedness of the lyrics, they don't rhyme necessarily as much as some of the other songs. There's some trippy effects going on. I think it's the keyboards. Are really captivative. They draw you in. The little guitar solo is sensational, and I love how the phase is kicked in on the phase effect is kicked in on the guitar solo towards the end. The song ends with a big build up and then to a crash. I love the vibe of the song. I gave the song 8 out of 10. It's never a skip for me. Andrew.
Well, we're back to business, aren't we, bro? After a couple of those other songs, and what's so different here is that you've got some amazing drumming patterns going on in this song. Again, it's just phenomenal. And then, Brad, I've got this note here of that a slide work that's going on. It's fascinating, but also you've got is it a trem? He's using a trem as well? Which again, it's fascinating the way that works, because that's not classic Blackmore. And at that 2-minute mark, you've got that keyboard sound tone, which has got that late 60s psychedelic groove going to it. I like that. It's completely different to what Lord would normally play, and it's an amazing trip. And bro, I've ranked this pretty close to yours. I've got 8.5 out of 10.
Wow, we're back on track then.
Back on track,
bro.
So yes. Can I say that rather than that when I see the the track, the mule. I should have forgotten about it, but I always associate with Ian Pacey's drum solo, because on Made in Japan, the mule is basically Ian Pacey's drum solo. So
correct.
Am I allowed to say, in retrospect, it was quite pleasing when no drum solo appeared.
Because we know what the rock professor thinks about drum solos. Drum solos shouldn't be on rock albums.
They were great in 1972, but do you know? Talking about, is it? I think. Do you remember a group called Lone Star? There was a group called Lone Star, and one of their albums, I'm sure, starts with a drum solo track.
Oh Lord!
Now that's bold. If you're asking me. I'm sure I can remember sitting in a booth listening, and my mate Martin putting it on, going, "Listen to this. They start with a drum solo." That's not necessarily good, Martin. So I was pleased that it didn't start off with a drum solo, but I'm all right. I'm not too done, but I feel like they're a particularly 70s thing in retrospect. So apparently, Ian Gillan introduces the mule as it's all about Lucifer and some of his friends, some of whom are sitting around here somewhere tonight. However, according to his website, he also states the mule was inspired by Isaac Asimov. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a science fiction writer. The references to the character of the mule in the Foundation series. So check those out if you've not read them. They're amazing books. Foundation. I read them a long time ago. Apparently, I think possibly what it's about, in an effort to achieve a flanging effect, so they include the tape had been reversed and was in record mode. Half the drums had been erased from the middle to the end of the song, and the drum used for the recording had been packed away and were on their way to Europe for the next tour. So they had to hastily rent a kit so Ian Pace could overdub new drums on half the song. Classic. Bit of a mistake there. Had to be I didn't notice. Fortunately.
No, I've never done.
I never noticed that. No. But I agree with that kind of. I presume it's that kind of Eastern sounding thing that they were going for. That kind of Eastern. Yeah, I'm not sure, but it had some sounds that were quite difficult to identify. Much more to add. I think those things really make it interesting. I love that Eastern sounding kind of organ sound that he does, and I think there's great guitar solos, and the jamming out at the end, and with the pan percussion as well at the end, just going round. It's really cool. I really like this. I give 8.5 out of 10, like Andrew. Never a skip. I think it's a strong opener to side 2, and as I say, gets an extra half for not having a drum solo.
Awesome.
Poor drummers.
Yeah.
The drummer.
I don't feel that sorry for Ian Pace.
No, Ian Pace. He's every song he plays is like a drum solo anyway. What does he need to do one for? Making Ian Pace.
He's doing a drum solo. He's just got a lot of instruments over the top.
Look, I'll be honest with you, and I'm going to be a bit, getting back to like being a musician. When I'm playing with bands and the drummer goes, "I want to do a solo," I go, "What do you mean you want to do a solo? Every song you play is a drum solo because you don't just play the basic beat. You play too much. It's not a solo." And they get the shits with it. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. Yes. Anyway, well, yes. Whereas you, of course, soloing on your guitar is a completely different thing, Brad, as everyone knows.
It's
a completely different thing.
Guitar players can solo, all right? I'm joking. All right, so I'm going to shut my mouth before I get myself into trouble and get into the ranking. So we're up to Fools. I love this track. Wonderful, mellow little intro. That guitar and organ playing the same thing, like the way they do it. It's really spooky and stellar. It's amazing. There's like a free feel in the intro vocally. He's like doing these R's and trying to suck you in. It's a free vocal. There's nothing sort of, it's like ad lib. It's put in there, but it's beautiful the way he's done it. The effect they use on his voice really sucks you in. And then all of a sudden the song explodes at about 1 minute 45 into the song. It just becomes this big, powerful sound. The drums are swinging. There's a lot of groove there. Vocally and guitar-wise, they're pushing each other through the verses. It's like this little battle between vocal and guitar to me in the verses. It really gives a bit of anticipation all through those verses. I love it. I love how it's done. Whether it's done intentionally by Richie or M because they were having a little bit of trouble towards each other, or that was just the way it was. Fantastically. The drum breakdown, the egg shaker. That's fantastic. When the egg shaker comes in, I love that. Then we get that spooky guitar swells, the way he's doing the swells on the guitar. Richie was brilliant at doing this, and back in this time, I don't think a lot of guitar players are doing this. So, for the most part, he's really just trying to make it sound like a violin. That's my impersonation of it. He's not using a bow. He's just using swells, volume swells, like that. So
is that hand volume swells, or do you think he's got a volume pedal?
No,
he's doing it with his hand, with a knob. Yeah.
So it's not a lot of players are doing that back, at this point in time. And I think maybe he was one of those guys that was an innovator doing these sort of things without realizing it. Obviously really sets a vibe over the top of that held back drumming, like that really sort of the way it's sort of held back by Ian Pace so wonderfully. Then the song explodes again with more bombastic drumming. The outro highlights John Lord. Look, I love the song. I could go on about it for a while, but I won't. 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. Andrew.
Boom.
Wow, bro. That drone texture on the guitar, and it's interlinked with those arpeggio chords and the delicate vocals, Rock Professor, that come through. It's just fascinating. And then you've got that growl at 1:45. It's like, and it just wakes you up a little bit. Brad, I'm going to tell you something. I love giving history lessons here. And I want to link this back into what you said in your intro, bro. You said how they were taking us on different journeys, this band at the time of this album. They were touching different things. They were experimenting and doing, things maybe because they were being influenced by other contemporary rock bands at the time, i.e. Led Zeppelin. And that's fine because we understand and know clearly that a lot of these bands were borrowing off each other. And that's fine. That's not a criticism. But this song certainly links into exactly what you said in the introduction. It's fantastic from that perspective. I never, and again, you also said something else too that I found interesting. Whether or not people you didn't get a lot of what was going on when you first kind of heard this album, like me. But the Rock Professor probably got it first listen, but that's okay. But yes, but I just plod along. And then listen to these things. Look, I never got this song honestly when I first heard it, but I have to tell you, Brad, it's mandatory. I've got this mandatory listening. It's a rock opera and a song for me. It's a classic, condensed, just a wonderful example of how these guys could do something as technical as this, conceived in their minds, expressed through their instruments in this song on a side of an album. I've Brad scored this. It's when I listened to it prior to you having your stroke, bro, and then listening to it a couple of times in preparation for this show, I just love it. It's mandatory listening. I think it's a deep cut that perhaps doesn't get enough recognition. Brad score. Rock Professor.
No, I completely agree. It's I think again, it's a lesson in dynamics, isn't it? It's what you can do. You have the verse, which is quite quiet, and then you have the the loud guitar and organ play the riff, and then it drops down, and then you've got and it's that the counterpoint between the two things, of loud and quiet thing with using the band. When you starting off just with the ride cymbal and the organ just playing a little melody, it just just doing a few things. Guitar plays just that little 2-note figure, just it's not going berserk, it just plays a little 2-note thing. With the drums do just a little rim shot on the right cymbal. It's great because it's got a feel and an atmosphere and a vibe to it, and a dynamic way of playing that they're going to do something else, but when they come in bang, it's like being punched in the face kind of thing. Typical Blackmore stuff.
Hey, Johnny Bean at NAM, say g'day to all the rock stars at NAM on behalf of the 5150 show. Johnny Bean, tell them that the guys from the UK, Australia and New Zealand love those dudes, those famous dudes.
Yeah, have fun at NAM, Johnny. Fantastic. What fun.
Sorry for interrupting you, Rock Professor.
No, it's fine. It's a so that kind of dynamics thing. And Brad, I thought it was more like a cello than a violin. I wish to beg to differ with you, young son, sir. Yes, I thought so. But yes, that kind of that use of, that kind of isn't that a swanny whistle? But I love that. I thought that was just beautiful, and I think that control, using the as you said, the volume, a bit Roy Buchanan-ish. I was reminded, or maybe Jeff Beck, but that kind of cello effect, I thought was beautiful.
Yeah. That puts it into perspective. Thank you.
Yes.
See, the Rock Professor's earned his 30 cents.
But as I say, it's one of the great things about the bands from this era is, and of course, they're playing together, ladies and gentlemen. They're playing together. It's in the studio playing together.
Yep.
And get around. And I think that has, on these sorts of songs, makes all the difference. As to what the atmosphere, the vibe, what you're trying to do in the track, and that ability to go loud, quiet, play, not play, do a little bit is fantastic. And those bands, that's why I love those bands from that era, because that's what they do. It's a kind of organic recording process, and they all play together. Stuff. So it's 10 out of 10 for me. Never a skip. That's a fantastic track. 10 out of 10, especially with the cello effects.
Yeah, and
beautiful stuff.
We're on the same page with that one as well. And I have to agree with you guys. And Andrew, it's a deep cut that probably doesn't get enough recognition in my eyes as well. I must agree with that.
Oh, there's another greaser, the Roy Buchanan reference. I knew this man knew his stuff. Oh, my. Oh.
Yeah.
It's a thin veneer, Johnny. It's a thin veneer.
Okay, well, look, you're not the only one. You're not the only one, because look at this. Okay, if you want to be look at this. Someone agrees with Andrew.
There you go. There you go.
Does anybody agree with Brad?
No one ever does.
No.
We're going to have to, mate, Rock Professor and Andrew, I'm going to have to butter your ears to get you through the front door soon. Your head's getting too big.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
Mandatory.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, guys,
oh, here we go. Keith is jumping in. Brad is law.
Thanks, Keith. I think Keith's probably he's always got my back. So, yeah.
What? Yeah. Unlike us, yes.
No, we'll ditch him.
So unfair.
Oh, goodness. So we're up to
is that a thing? Ditching the Aussie. Is that a thing?
No. No. Don't you? I didn't say that.
You did. You said it.
Lake District Guitars, Andy. Horns up for Brad. So there you go. Another one.
Yeah,
Another good
one.
Yeah.
Of course. We agree with you.
All right.
Always.
We're up to the final track on the album, guys. And this one took me a bit of time to get my head around the very first time I ever listened to it. And this song did grow on me because musically I think there's a lot going on, and somewhat lyrically I think it could be autobiographical maybe. I'm not sure if you guys are picking up on that vibe. In tongue-in-cheek wise though, yeah, there's a bit of tongue-in-cheek in it, but starts off in that classic Deep Purple styling. It's got that styling that is unique to Deep Purple. The sound is already Deep Purple as the song comes in. Like I said, the vocals.
Can I interrupt you, bro? This is No One Came, isn't it?
Yep.
It is.
Yeah. Cool. Yep. Thank you. Sorry, I just lost. Yeah. Sorry, bro.
No, you're right. Yep. Now I'm worried because I've already made one boo boo. If I make another one, I'm off the show. Yeah. So the vocals, they're leading us on a story, and I think it's autobiographical a little bit. The band, they're sort of vamping in the background. This is what I found hard because the melody and the lyrics are sort of just floating on top of this. They're not part of the song. So the band's kind of like vamping, like music, while he's talking over the top a little bit or singing over the top. I love the guitar solo in this song. Richie plays, and I've said it before, he's got so much class in his playing. He plays for the song, and this is a perfect example. John Lord plays a solo following Richie and obviously doesn't disappoint either. And I'm hearing a very funk influence in his solo in this one. Obviously, he funks a lot and then he plays pretty rock, but in this one he's funking a lot, which is beautiful the way he does it. The song ends falsely, and then it comes back in with some slowed down backmask effect. Now, I've listened to this countless times trying to work out whether it's guitar or organ, but the backmasking means that they've cut tape, they've reversed it, and it's coming. So we're hearing whatever's being played backwards. I don't think it's guitar. I'm thinking it's organ. Someone might know this off the top of their head, straight off the top of their head. I might be able to sort of back me up there. I'm not sure, but it's definitely slowed down. Whatever's backmasked, it's not running at the same speed. It's slowed down. It's a nice way to end the album. Not the strong sort of melody that I go for in a song, but I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's never a skip for me, Andrew.
Bro, look, again, I have to agree that so No One Came, classic Deep Purple intro between the vocals and the organ. So yeah, absolutely. When I hear it, it's classic. And the key clearly to this band is the organ. Clearly, we can talk about the bass, we can talk about Blackmore, but clearly Rock Professor, what makes this band distinctive in 1970, 71 amongst all the other great bands dropping albums, clearly is the way that organ interplays. And Brad, you're right. I've just got to totally agree with you. I think it's fascinating and it's cool. That solo at the 2-minute mark with the trem and that vibrato. Now, again, I want to point this out to you guys. Richie Blackmore's vibrato is just as good as anybody else's vibrato at the time, and we don't associate that, I don't think, enough to what Richie Blackmore does, and the way that he gives, as Brad hinted at, that space between notes is it's fantastic. But when I listened to this in preparation for the show, I listened to it a couple of times repeatedly just to pick up what I discovered as a result of doing these shows with you guys, because I'm listening to things that I haven't heard before, and that technique and these little bits of things, that Blackmore's doing is just a revelation for me, and it became clear listening to it in this song. Look, I think it's fascinating. I have to agree with what you also said too about that bit of funkism coming through there. The guy's definitely got it, hasn't he? Would be great to see if they could have gone on and done something like that. I wouldn't have complained, Rock Professor. But I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. But I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, and but I'm happy with the solid 9, Rock Professor. I'm happy with it.
Happy with a solid 9. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. It's classic Deep Purple. Getting around in the studio, playing, and I've said this a lot on here. That maintaining interest for 6.5 minutes is hard. It's difficult. You think how many songs that are 3 minutes that sound like they're 10. I never felt like that with any of these songs, but
Yeah.
and this includes that there's always something new, something different going on, something changed, something that they're doing. I like the fact they do the guitar solo and then they have the organ solo and it kind of takes over. So one follows the other.
Yeah.
I like the half-spoken vocals as well. It's kind of gets it. Thing. I agree with you, Brad. It's about them being a band, isn't it? Being a rock star kind of thing. When no one came. Yeah. It's got some depth to lyrics. It's not just thrown away lyrics. So I think it's really cool. I like the drop down. And as you say, back in with the intro. And then that kind of backwards keyboard thing they do is, it's just another effect. It's another thing to keep your interest, within the song. I gave it a 8.5 out of 10, but it's never a skip. It's really good. I really liked it. Yeah, cool.
Well, there you go,
Keith,
gentlemen.
Cool song.
Keith says that you speak for his soul, bro.
Oh. I'm glad I speak to someone's soul.
Never wrong.
That's lovely, Keith. Thank you. I'm glad it resonates with someone. Otherwise I'd be feeling like all on my own lonesome.
And Keith is saying too, better than anyone else at that time. Yeah, look, it's again, Keith, Brad, and everybody else, and Rock Professor. We talk about it often, isn't it? How, and we spoke about it yesterday with Doug, how you can hear something for years and then get some backstory or get something or be affected by something that that was happening around that time, and it can just have a remarkable effect on the way that you listen to something. And this clearly was the result of what we do here for me listening to this song, because I would never associate vibrato with Richie Blackmore.
Yeah. Well, look, for me,
Nope.
I've absolutely always loved Richie's style. He's so classy. For me, the vibrato that he does is somewhat Clapton-like at times, somewhat Hendrix-like at times. It's like all of his influences are in his playing, and then obviously when you get to like Machine Head and he's playing Lazy, some of the blues playing in that song is some of the most exciting and can I say the best blues guitar playing I've ever heard electrically for that era. Yeah.
Yep. And Keith also backed up what you were saying about the headstock earlier too, guys. I didn't get a chance to say that, but he's right. Jimi Hendrix said the same thing too about the big headstock too having an effect on the tone. So, gosh, Brad, if you want to grab your guitar and show it, and if Brad says it makes a difference to the tone, if Jimi Hendrix says it makes a difference, and Richie Blackmore says it makes a difference, that's good enough for the 5150 show.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a rock triumvirate not to be messed with. There we are, you see? Brad Cook, Jimi Hendrix, and Richie Blackmore.
Yeah.
The Mount Rushmore of
Jimmy
70s
and Richie.
spenders.
There you go, guys.
And we're not taking the piss either. We mean that. We're serious. Hey, we're not taking the piss. Yeah, bro. Sorry for swearing, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, Mr. Potty Mouth. Released. Unleashed.
Look, I'm tone deaf. I can't tell the difference. I've owned big stock Strats, Keith and Simon, and I've got narrow, skinny ones. I can't hear the difference.
No. I'm like you, Andrew. I can't tell the difference between anything, to be honest. The more, I have grave difficulty with tone woods. I have no idea. Does my mahogany guitar sound that different to my? I can make them all sound the same. That's because it's me.
I reckon I can tell the difference between bodies. I reckon I can. Yeah, I reckon I can tell the difference between different bodies of guitars. But anyway, I just want to do a little quick aside. So the Rock Professor puts up photographs of him at his gig, of the stage, of all the roadies setting up everything for his gig last night. This army of roadies out there. And the Rock Professor's got his guitars, 2 guitars stacked, laying there.
Yeah.
And his bloody bass player has 2 basses there. And I said to the Rock Professor, tell your bass player off for having the same amount of basses as the guitar player. That's just a no-no, isn't it, Brad?
That just means your bass player is trying to compete with you, Simon. You can't have that, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I've got 14 other guitars out of shot.
Good boy.
No, I haven't.
Well, the rest are in the van.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the rest are in my enormous truck outside.
Guys, I have to. I got to share this with you. Look, we're lucky. We're so lucky. We've had Brad come on the show for a long, long time, and he tells us about how he just takes a couple of guitars when he goes and plays these gigs. 2 guitars. That's it on average, isn't it? That Brad will take. I went and watched this local band before lockdown with a couple of mates, and it was like 25 people at this venue. And the guitar player, the guitar player changed his guitar every time. And
did somebody run on? Did somebody run on with his next guitar and he kind of put it
yes!
on?
And I'm going, because you know how we support musicians and guitar players here. We do that. But I have to say that me and Carl and a couple of other guys said, "Oh my gosh, the guy's pulled out all the guitars for this gig, hasn't he?"
Mate, he's pulled out all the stops. He wants to be recognised, mate. That's what it is.
What's that thing? If you play more than 3 guitars at a gig, you're just showing off your guitar collection.
Keith did mention something about tunings. Maybe all the same songs with open tunings, or anything.
Oh, it was It was a blues gig, bro. It wasn't prog rock or anything like that.
Open tunings. There are a lot of open tunings in blues rock.
Was he playing open tunings at all or not?
Nah. It was between us and the 16 people watching it, and probably how many people are going to be watching our replay. It was just a little bit funny. It's just a little bit funny when you see a guy in a small little suburban gig.
With lots of guitars.
Well, God bless him for caring enough to change his guitars for everyone's ears. He wanted to give everyone a taste of all of his guitar collection.
Well, Brad, sorry, Simon, but Brad, you've said it before. You only take 1 guitar. You've got your pull pots on your Les Paul, and you take another guitar for a backup. That's it.
That's it. I mean, I think when it comes to playing live, I try to make it as simple for myself as possible. It's hard enough as it is, up there doing it. So you make life easy for yourself. Yeah, that's how I see it. Unless I could afford, I guess, if I could afford a roadie or a guitar tech, even more so. Well, I can't. So I'm not going to have someone. I think having someone run out change guitars at a pub gig's a bit much. That's just my take on it. Different story if I was playing at Wembley Stadium. Hey, I'd pay someone to throw guitars at me every song.
Simon would do it for free for you.
And you know what?
What? Throw guitars at Brad? Yes.
You know what? I would show off. I'd go, it doesn't matter if I'm playing a Les Paul. I want my other Les Paul to play for this song, and then I want to go back to that Les Paul for that song. They go, but it's a Les Paul, but I want to play that one.
Yeah, that one for that song. Yes, they all sound different.
Well, thanks guys for indulging me with this album. It's been great, and finally got around to it after all this time.
I think we should make an honourable mention for "Strange Kind of Woman," because it's on the American version, isn't it? It was on the other versions of it. So
yes, and it's on the 25th anniversary release as well as an extra track. It was recorded, and it's a great song. Great song.
Yeah. Oddly,
okay, then
they swapped Demon's Eye out for it, which I find a bit weird. Not anyone's daughter.
Okay, well, so here's my notes thing for Strange Kind of Woman. This song is deep in my memory. It's scarred on it, Brad and Simon. The space between the notes and the solo is pure Blackmore, and it feeds into, again, that previous song that I was talking about. And the drumming is nicely buried in the mix. Have you guys noticed that? It's not the full frontal force that it was on all the other songs. And they've pushed the vocals forward on this song. So, yeah, love it.
Yeah, well, I didn't do any notes on that song, but I know it backwards. Like, I've heard it more than, just about any other Deep Purple song, because it is on the Deepest, Deepest Purple, that Greatest Hits album. So I've heard it a lot. And, it's a classic song. And it's classic Deep Purple for this era.
That's the album that I know inside out. Deepest Purple, bro. That's just
Yeah. It's hard to make a best of Deep Purple, in my opinion, because you've got different eras, you've got different sounds and everything. But for me, they did a really great job on that Deepest Purple album.
Yeah. Alan reckons you need to take 3 guitars to the next gig.
He does. Yes. I'm definitely taking 3 next time, because I know that Dave's only got 2 basses, so I win.
Good. Bro, it's been fascinating talking about Deep Purple. I think we're going to do a collective meeting between the 3 of us. We might probably do a Zoso show next week. It's been a while since we've done a Zoso show, so we're going to get together and we're going to hatch a plan with Brad, because he hasn't. I think we've done a couple when Brad was not able to join us, but we'll do a Zoso show next week. And guys, if you can get a chance to hang out with us tomorrow, Brad and I are going to be hanging out with this guy here on the channel. We're going to be going later than usual because Jamie Humphreys is stationed in Sweden. He's stationed in Sweden, so it's 11 o'clock in the morning for him. So it'll be 9 for me and 7 for Brad. So we're going to hang out with Jamie Humphreys for a couple of hours. If you guys are familiar with Jamie, he, like Doug, will always come up in your EVH guitar lesson searches. We're going to talk guitars because he's an endorsee of Ernie Ball Music Man guitars, and we love those guitars around here, don't we, Brad? So we look forward to that.
We sure do, Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hold it there, bro. So bit of a coup for the channel, guys, to get Jamie on. Bit of a coup for us because he reached out and touched base with us and said, guys, we want to do a show with you. So we said, absolutely. Thank you very much for picking us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I have in the background to you know, I might put it over here just to show off to him that I've got a music man.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking Music Man guitars, but yeah, we look forward to that, don't we?
Yeah, very much so. I just watched his recent video on the Soldano head, which is right up my alley for the tones he was going for, and that. So, yeah, it's fantastic. If you haven't gone across and checked out his YouTube channel, go and do it now.
Yeah. And if you guys want to make sure that you're up to date with what we're going to be talking about, go and check out Brad and the Rock Professor on Instagram. You can see their accounts there on the bottom there. Brad Cook Music, easy peasy. When we decide what we're going to do on the Zoso show, Rock Professor Simon Williams 33 will release the subject there for next Sunday.
Yeah, that's my age when I started it.
3 years ago. Wow.
Yeah. No, 33.
I was going to say 4 years ago. I was going to say 4 years ago, Andrew, but 3, okay.
Awesome. We've got some nice words there from our regulars, from Johnny Heartbreaker and Holly
Johnny.
Lewis. Thank you, Holly. Yeah. Holly is another champion for the channel. She shares our links on her EVH Facebook group. Thank you, Holly. In fact, everybody that shares our channel on your social media accounts, thank you, because they do work. You share someone's channel, you ask people to subscribe. Our channel is living proof of how that works. You want to grow your channel organically, you get your friends to help you, because that's organic. It's taking into account the community and the friendships that you got, and we've done it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yes, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cool. So Zoso show next week. Oh, we're loving that, aren't we? Oh,
yes.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I can't wait.
Yeah.
And
thank you, Keith.
Yeah, thank you.
Tomorrow night we're back. Looking forward to that. Zoso show next week. We'll keep you up to date. Check our Instagram stories.
Awesome. Who's going to do the shout out? Brad, you going to do the shout out, or are you going to do it, Rock
Brad,
Professor?
Do the shout out. Brad can do the shout out.
You want me to?
Yeah. Do the shout out, bro.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go through and I'll try and pick everyone out. If I miss anyone, I will apologise in advance, because here we go. Gretch Zeppelin. Thank you for joining us, Gretch. We've got Helen O'Hara. Thank you. Some dodgy bloke called Simon Williams. And we're going to have to probably block that bloke. We've got Ellen V, my mother. She's in the chat every week, chatting along there. We've got Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
Ellen M Guitar Corner.
Thanks,
thank you so much. We have got Nelson. Thank you for joining us. We've got Mitch Hammond. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Mitch. Johnny Heartbreaker. Thank you. We have got, of course, we have Janice in the chat. We have Helen Winter. We've got, who else, guys? We had Johnny Bean in the chat. We have got Keith, of course. We have Keith. How could we forget Keith? Thank you for joining us again. I think I've covered everyone in the last little bit that I can see at the moment, guys. But if I have missed you, I do apologise, and thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
Guitars. Andy, thank you, Andy.
Yeah, I can see Andy in there. That's it.
Yeah, there he is. So, thanks everyone for joining. Helene O'Hara. Yes.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep. Hugh, thank you, Hugh. And thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week or tomorrow.
8 million out of 10. Thank you, Hugh.
8
million out of 10.
8 million. That is
8
Brad
million.
scoring.
Wow. Keep those hands up. Bye.
Bye.